Hello fellow Magic players. I'm trying to tweak these videos a bit and I've shortened the intro as a test. I felt like it took a bit long before we got started to the good stuff. But let me know if this is a bad idea. At the moment I'm using the Eels logo if it's in our play group, and other logos if it's anywhere else in the world. So back to the game. I'm playing against Naya here, and I'm starting out with a Chaos Orb, and oddly enough he throws down the library in the first move, and I orb it. So, but I guess he didn't want to wait for some reason. There could be other stuff he doesn't want to lose. So he starts out with strip mining the factory, thereby reducing my offensive capabilities here. But he also has to discard a card because he took that extra card from the lower. So without any lands, might as well get going with a Hypnotic Spectre. And he immediately removes it, but he uses a Swords to Plowshares here. So if possible, it could be nice to get out a Yuuzhan at this point. And I do. So back in the video before this, I talked about what to choose between Yuuzhan or Spectres as your casting options. Oh, he had 2 Swords to Plowshares here, so that explains it. But I just keep on bringing the cows, man. Well, yeah, I talked about that and a little bit about the thought process that goes behind this, and you can check it out in the match against the red-white deck. Nothing groundbreaking. I'm sure most players do the same, but I'm not sure. So here we Mind Twist him. Had enough of his removal. So that's a 1/1 ape against a 5/5 demon. So he can't even block and bolt it at this point. He needs a forest of some sort in order to boost that Curt Ape. And then he needs to have a bolt in hand. So this is a very aggressive start from the mono black side. With all those creatures following up with that Mind Twist. So we have a Dreams, and he decides to bolt my face at this point, and at the moment I knew why he did it, but it becomes apparent enough as he balances straight after. And that actually, I lose my hand and I'm down to a single land. Thank God for the Underworld Dreams. I opt to keep the City of Brass, obviously, as it mana fixes me the most, and I could draw bolts against him or an Ancestral Recall or something like that. He top decks a City of Brass. That's probably the best pick he could get. Now he just needs a Disenchant. And okay, so that's a couple of nice draws he had there. A case could be made for disenchanting the Underworld Dreams, as he has a lot more answers against that factory you could draw into, like bolts or Swords to Plowshares. And even though the factory do the most damage at this point, the Underworld Dreams is a continual threat. He has 3 cards left to remove it in the deck. And if I draw into a Wheel of Fortune or a Time Twister, it can really hurt him. But I don't draw any more lands, so I just bolt him all the way down. There we go. So mono black takes the first game, drawing 3 bolts in concession. So that's always nice. So this is the second match. And Insul is on the play. The Naya player on the right. That's a good start. As said, an early City of Brass is very, very nice for these 3 color decks, and we both play 3 colors. but he has the birds, obviously. That also helps in that department. But he's a bit mana screwed here, as we see, or he could be. He could also be putting down that maze just to stop the factory. But I interpret it as a mana problem, so I'm starting to focusing on removing his mana producing creatures, and seemed to work like a charm. There were, as he had no more lands to drop. So really considering something here. Okay, I go for a demonic tutor, and with that single blue mana source untapped, I think we all have a pretty good guess at what to take here. Yeah, it's most likely an Ancestral Recall, which should put me ahead against him. So he really needs to get something going here. Thankfully he drew a Plains, so now perhaps he can make something happen, but no, he doesn't. And in Jens-Ole's end step I use Ancestral Recall, so now I'm probably armed to the teeth here. That maze is trouble, because dropping down a Jusumgen will not help, because it'll just damage myself. So we start by drawing out his bolts. I don't remember, but perhaps I like to drop Spectres first because I want him to damage himself with that City of Brass. I'm not sure. But that's his only red mana source at this point, and he probably has both Swords to Plowshares and bolts in hand. So I like to sinkhole his only red mana source, probably to keep the factories protected. Another viable play could be to sinkhole the Maze of Earth, but at least his mana screws him. But maybe not, as he draws into a plateau. So that might have been a gambit that didn't pay off, but here we go. 3 factories coming in. He untaps one of them with the mace, disenchants another, and as a response I pump the factory that get in with the factory that he uses Mace of Earth on. And sometimes I see player miss this step, but you can actually squeeze an extra point of damage out this way when you're against the Mace of Earth by using the factory that gets mazed to boost the attacker, the other attacker that gets in. So we had a bit of a stalemate here. I mean, he has a sushi down and a factory, so I suppose he could get in, and I have a plug on him with the Underworld Dreams. But okay, but now he can break through. I'm down to a single factory at this point, and he can do 6 points of damage each turn, and I can't attack him back. But if you can't attack, you can try the other route with the direct damage spells and Underworld Dreams. And there's a twister. Oh my god, well that's actually a game right there. It's 14 points of damage. Yeah. So that combination it's just broken. So it's 2-0 for the mono black deck. I'm on a roll today. Getting some good draws and pretty stable mana base. So that's always nice. So this is the final game of this set. I remember the last set that was on this channel against Jens-Ole, I lost 2-1. So in a way, this, I guess, is kind of payback. This is a good start with the Mox Ruby, a Sol Ring, and a Time Walk. So I appear to be a bit mana screwed with I'm needing a second source of black mana at this point. I don't usually play a strip mine, but this early, because I I needed at least 2 black mana sources to get the deck going. So to me this indicates that I'm having a bit of trouble here with the mana source, but thank God for tutor, right? And the strip mine was still usable because it sets Shinsole further back. So now that's a very exposed Chaos Orb. If he goes into a Mox or something, he could disenchant it at that point, but took my chances. Still no land, okay. So up to Time Twist here. We just fire some lightning bolts ahead at each other. So I tutored for that Time Twister, and with a bolt in hand I could just fire away. I could just empty my hand, and this actually gives me a much larger card advantage than if I just tutored for the Ancestral Recall as I usually do. So I haven't done the counting, but I'm guessing I'm 5 or 6 cards ahead at this point, just from that Time Twister. So let's hope for a second black mana source here. Okay, here comes the Black Lotus. Still no lands. That's okay. That's a strip mine again. I could also almost think we were playing EC at this point, but this is the Swedish ban and restrictions we play with, so it's only one strip mine in the deck. But I use sinkholes as well. So at this point, I'm not really allowing Shinsole to get us any kind of start here. Okay, so he tries again, putting out a Tiger and a Kerdek. If that was the first round, it would have been a very nice opening for a Naya Su deck. But I'm still well ahead. Except, yes, there's still only a single black mana source. So I have to use a ritual, and then I get enough black mana to sinkhole the Tiger and to cast a Dark Ritual and sinkhole the Tiger. He plays a Forest and a Birds of Paradise. And I attack with the Sinker Vampire and immediately Time Walks. And still no second source of black mana. This is really odd. But continuing to try and pressure his mana. I mean, if you don't have mana yourself, you might as well try to take his out, right? And taking out the birds removes his ability to cast Swords to Plowshares on the vampire. So at this point I'm just crossing fingers so that he doesn't draw into a white mana, but he drew a mace. So that's annoying. Okay, so we finally got the Mind Twist. It's 3 cards. No, sorry, 4 cards. Okay, so I still lack that black mana. Without it, and it's like fighting on one leg. But at least the Mind Twist can go off like that. Still nothing. You get the tutor. Perhaps it would be viable to even cast or to even tutor for a Badlands here or an extra Underground Sea. I'm not sure. Just to try and mana fix this situation. And Ancestral Recall could be used again actually, and just hope that I can just dig through the deck, and at some point I'll start drawing into a whole chunk of lands. So yeah, that's the Ancestral Recall. That was what I tutored for. So there's the second black mana source. And it's not perfect as it damages me, but at this point I don't care. And the Ancestral Recall brought me into lower range, so that was another reason for picking it, but Shinsole drew the answer to it right there as he removed the Library of Alexandria. So we put down an Underworld Dreams. That may still hold the vampire back, but has another Dreams. This is really bad. Oh, look at that hand. I've been saving up that hand, I guess, because I needed that second black mana source, and it's just full of creatures. At this point I can keep on pumping them out. Yes. 2 Jusims in the same turn. And I saw that I discarded his balance with the Mind Twist, so that just makes me realize that I can just go all in here. So this is a big slugfest between a bunch of creatures at this point, but Jusims are bigger, man. They'll eat those sushis. Here comes the vampire. Oh boy, it's all. Oh, he concedes there, and I have a bolt as well, so a bunch of specters and another vampire. So yeah, I guess I don't know what happened. These last 2 sets has just been a real storm fest, and I kept on being very lucky in my draws, and things worked out. So that's always pleasing. Let's see how long it takes before the luck changes again. There'll be a few days before any new matches are recorded, but I'll try to get some in as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.